Peace. I'm Kamal Imani. There's something that relationship experts are not telling the black woman and the black man and the black community. This is what Dr. Joy DeGroy calls post-traumatic slavery syndrome. This is the multi-generational habits that black people have picked up from the triangular slave trade and being oppressed and enslaved in this country and beyond. Our families were broken up. The man was emasculated. The man was made to fear the master and fear his family. And since we were babies, they put fear in us and separated our families. We were never taught manhood training as we did in indigenous Africa and indigenous America and all over the planet Earth. We weren't taught that love is responsibility, to be responsible for your women and your children. I learned that through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as well as watching certain good men in my family. But when we think that a woman is just there for pleasure, sister, you have to watch who you're opening yourself up to, because your body is your temple, your mind, your soul. You are the temple of God. The black man is the temple of God. And we're letting people just run in on each other and do whatever like it's not sacred ground. You are holy ground, sister, and the man has to understand that. And he's holy ground too. Whether his money is up or not, whether your money is up or not. And that's another thing. We're looking at each other according to our checklist. And I know brothers and sisters have checklists, but you have to be able to say, is my checklist based on reality? And is my checklist something that I can work on with my mate if they don't meet all my criteria? Or do I just say, well, you didn't meet 8, 9, and 10, you're gone? You're looking for perfection. Perfection does not exist in this society. Because we have what? Post-traumatic slavery syndrome. Everybody you meet has post-traumatic slavery syndrome in the black community. Something's wrong with us. There's an issue there that is unresolved, or someone's working on or has worked on. So when Mr. Perfect comes to you, you better watch yourself. And if you think you're perfect, you better check yourself. Because what this relationship thing is about is a spiritual union. A spiritual union, when people say soulmate, yeah, they might be a soulmate, but you got to work on it. She has to work on herself. He has to work on himself. And we have to continue to work on it. As one person, sometimes you have to refresh yourself, right? Sometimes you can be aggressive in life, pursuing your goals, the pursuit of happiness. Sometimes you reach obstacles. You got to figure out if you go around it, over it, through it, under it. Sometimes you got to surrender and fall back, right? So as one person, you got to deal with that. You got to deal with healing. And you got to deal with balance, your life balance, your lifestyle. Now you added someone else into your equation. They have to be aware that they have to deal with that. And you have to come together and create a balance together. And then you have children around. And you have to balance all of that into the equation. When a boxer is fighting or there's any competition, basketball, tennis, or whatever, the object is to get your opponent off balance. When you get your opponent off balance, you go in and you finish them, right? So now we're not trying to get each other off balance. We're trying to get each other on balance or in balance. So as soon as the imbalance comes, then the opposition from the world will come in and take your relationship out. Whether it's temptation, job loss, unemployment, health. If you don't take vows seriously or your commitment seriously, you're going to fall to the imbalance. Your relationship is over. But most people that I hear speaking, they, and relationship experts as well, they talk about the initial experience, whether you got curved or not, whether you're compatible or not, how fast the person gave something up. You know, those kind of things. Should I consider them for a commitment after you already had the sexual experience? And sisters, you're moving too fast, opening it up for him. He's not going to respect you. Most men aren't going to respect you if they didn't even get a chance to see who you are. I love a woman who I see is handling her business. She's about what she went to school for, or she's about her dream, whether it's being a dancer, an artist, a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, whatever it is, an author, motivational speaker, cop. She's all about her career and her life and herself, and she wants to bring you into her world. That, man, is attractive. And I want to know some of that before I dive in. I want to know, is she a clean person? Is her house nice and clean? She have clean habits? Is she really professional when she's outside the job? Does she just have that vibe? Is she a sanctified lady in a sense? Is she sophisticated? Can she hold a nice conversation? Intellect? And is she about her people? Because if you don't realize that we're dealing with white supremacy, racism, then you don't realize that forces are going to come to take you out of here. The woman has to understand that it's very hard for the black man, and the black man has to understand that it's very hard for the black woman out here. So when we come together, it's me and you, one-on-one against the world. Like Houdini said, the rap group. Me and you, one-on-one against the world. Now, when you get knee-deep, Curtis Blow said, save your love for number one, y'all. For the one that you got to come home to. You know? I could quote some new people, but, we had it tight back then. And that's the thing. Y'all don't want to bring it back to the old school. If you're talking commitment, you got to bring it back to the old school. You got to bring it back to the Bible. You got to bring it back to the book of coming forth by a light. Like, you got to bring it back. I'm just saying, universal law, karma. Y'all just running around, jumping in each other and jumping in everybody else. Jumping around, humping around, thinking it's cute, speed dating, curving and swerving. But truly, what happened to legacy? What happened to legacy? What happened to black pride? I'm going to tell you something, brothers. There's nothing, no feeling like being a responsible husband and father. There's no feeling like it. Making your black woman proud and knowing she could depend on you when she needs you, and knowing your son or daughter knowing they could depend on you and you're coming home every day, same time, same channel, positive, truthful, and honest. See, because my father wasn't around. He left when I was 3. And my mother used to faint and have nervous breakdowns. I didn't want my wife to ever go through what I saw my mother go through. And I didn't want my son to go through what I went through. I had to figure everything out almost for myself as being a man. And thank God my female cousins brought me the autobiography of Malcolm X. Let your children read the autobiography of Malcolm X. Let them read Marcus Garvey. Let them read the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let them read Francis Cress Welsing, ISIS Papers. Let them read Dr. Joy DeGruy. Erica, I think it was Erica Alexander, I'm not sure. But you know the actress, I ain't talking about her. I'm talking about the author, Erica something. I'll get back to you on that one. But back to my point, man. We should not talk about relationships without addressing post-traumatic slavery syndrome and the habits that we have, the fears that we have, the attack that we're under, the unemployment. Because when you look at the welfare system and how it was designed for the man to be out of the house. That destroys the family right there. So we got to get the man back in the house. But sister, you have to give him respect. But man, you got to earn the respect. And men got to stop acting like boys. I'm serious. Now, the other thing that's sometimes missed is unconditional love. Synonym, selflessness. Y'all got to be selfless. You got to give. When you're together, you are giving her your all. She's giving you her all. If that's not happening, you're going to fall. It's not going to work. This is for people that want a serious relationship. Y'all just want to play with each other. Y'all go ahead and play with each other. But you're going to get your feelings hurt. You might get diseases. You're going to be upset. You're going to get depressed because you're playing with each other and you're playing with everybody else. So if that's what you want, bye-bye. Do what you got to do. But I'm talking about people that really want a serious relationship. Know that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of communication. You got to communicate about how you communicate. You got to talk sweet to each other. You got to communicate about sex. You got to communicate about how you manage the money. You got to communicate about how you deal with the kids, emergency funds and transportation and jobs. You got to communicate about everything all the time. I mean, you got to go out and have fun too. You got to have relations, but also have the vacation and have relations on the vacation. But when it's back to the grind, you got to communicate. All right, I got to go. My people coming. All right. Kamal, Imani. Peace.